The energy still feels somewhat uncertain at this time. This is a reading about what is completing, but also how that is echoing into the future. And that might sound confusing. Well, if it's completing, then how is it echoing into the future? As above, so below. The main thing that I'm seeing in this is this mutable energy. There's Gemini and Pisces both present. There's something that keeps mutating or transforming or metamorphosizing, and quite frankly, I believe it's all three. I think there's something negative happening that is opening up as something positive opens up, as above, so below. That's why I say mutating and metamorphosizing and transforming, because that would just be neutral in between the two. So there's something here that we are expanding into. We have these new beginnings here ahead of us. But the challenge at play is generosity. And beneath it, the card Raven Spirit, the truth. But what's fascinating is that, even more fascinating, okay. So the truth card is number 32. The Maple Spirit Generosity card is number 23. The number 23 for me always brings up Blink 182. Nobody likes me when I'm 23. It's when I see this number, there's a struggle present. There's a struggle present where you just continue to work hard for something and you don't see results, or you feel unlovable no matter what you do, or life challenges you at all corners, and it's just a constant struggle. And the cards that came out after were strength and success, secret success. But there's a progression here from 2 to 34 to then the power card 11. But you can see in this progression where we're holding strong in the tree of life, as above, so below. The success we are receiving is unseen. 23 to the 4 to the 1s, power, but she looks defeated. There is this underlying aspect here that almost either neutralizes or diminishes the work being done. There's as if you were working constantly and what you're working on is making way, but every time you make way, it gets destroyed in some way, it gets undermined in some way. So again, as above, so below, it brings out the concepts of alchemy. And the challenge card in my other deck here is it is kind of like the Wheel of Fortune. I'm not going to show this deck for reasons unknown, but this deck is this deck basically has its own special cards to it, and it is about kind of like a Wheel of Fortune, but I call it my Quantum Leap card. So what's happening through this expansion, this new beginning, is the collective is undergoing a quantum leap here. But in this quantum leap, there is aspects of it that are not going to be revealed until later down the line. There's something about intuiting something, knowing something's going to happen, seeing that something is going to work in your favor, but all you see is duress. All you experience is duress on the way there. So by the time you get to it, you're either exhausted, you can't accept it. You know what I'm saying? But that's not true. The thing is that what you're being pushed through right now, it relates a lot to Pisces. It relates a lot to Quantum Entanglement and the all that is, which means it is both light and dark. This type of chaos, this type of transference of power, this type of change that we are all watching unfold, it does not come easily. It does not come by just flipping over a card. It does not come by just making one move different, right? It comes by uprooting the entire tree. It comes by literally getting to the root cause of the problem. So while there is some just generosity at play here, we're seeing people come together, or we're seeing help being handed. We're seeing hands reaching out, shaking of hands. We're seeing assistance in places maybe we didn't see it before. We're seeing people come together in new ways. This comes with truth that is tied to death, endings, transformation, because it is connected to the raven, to darkness. While it is illuminating, it is not always illuminating, and we think of light as good. This is light that reveals evil, so to speak, to dispel it. So we must see that all evil holds some good, and that all good holds some evil. This is a revelation. This is an expansion of the inner world, but also the consciousness, the way that we perceive the world around us. Otherwise, the change that we would create would only continue the processes that created the issue in the first place. So again, we must uproot the entire tree to get where we want to go. And what that looks like for every individual person is going to be completely different. And so the problem here is that this change requires so many moving parts that are tangled and knotted. It's confusing. It lends to a lot of deceit. Every movement forward is surrounded by mystery. There is inevitably aspects of each and every move that unfold as you move forward, creating more mystery, opening more cans of worms. And nothing can be kept with the lid on because there's too many cans of worms being opened all at once. The lids are being pushed open, forced open by those who don't want to open the cans of worms. So what you can expect in a practical sense from this, or more in a tangible sense from this, right now at least, and we're gonna do a reading on what comes next, but right now at least, is you can expect some moves to happen in your favor, but you won't see them coming. You might sense them coming, but it feels like every sense of hopefulness comes with a sense of doubt. And that is the challenge in this reading, is that there is this hopefulness that is just sitting beneath the surface and that we all see and know, but it is smothered in doubt. There is smothered in pessimism. It is smothered in chaos, cruelty, darkness, from a harmful sense. And so there is a need to see through. There is a need to look deeper into the void. There is a need to inquire about the mystery right now. So your job is to hold hands with the darkness, with the void. It is calling to you. You have magic here. Magic is calling to you to hold hands with it and enter into the future. And the demon cards that I pulled, we have Cameo here. Be mindful of arguments and disputes. It can feel good to win, but not at the cost of a relationship. So pick your battles is basically it, because some of you guys don't see what is unfolding beneath every harmful act you see. And it feels like everything that comes with pain and sorrow comes with change that brings triumph as well. Every harmful act that then has to unfold a new protest and a new fight and more resilience is the stepping stone to the change that you seek. And so it is a double-edged sword, which then King Valak brings in. Hidden dangers may yield unexpected good fortune. These should be discovered naturally and without force. And so there is a need to take both the darkness and the light in both hands. Or rather, many of you guys are used to the light or what is seen, but what about the darkness that reveals more of that brings more light, illuminating more of the shadows? Take the shadows in both hands, take the darkness in both hands at this time. This reminds me of a story. There's a time when I was living in a cabin in the middle of nowhere, Michigan, next to a lake, Lake Huron. And it was snowy, it was winter, and I was living month to month on an Airbnb. And I stepped outside one night to take my dog out, and it was so dark and quiet there. And the lights outside were not working. I can't remember, this was when the electricity went out unexpectedly or what, but my dog just was like skittish and needed to go outside. It was just like dying for fresh air. So I took him out, and it was terrifying. There was something about the energy at the time and the darkness and the stark quietness and being in the middle of nowhere that was terrifying. And a guard spirit came through and said, "Are you afraid of the dark? Are you afraid of the dark?" And it was at that moment when I knew what the future held in some regards. When it came to the metaphysical, or when it came to my path in the spiritual realm, there was a level of darkness that I had previously been afraid of seeing. And then later on, what I saw was that darkness had always been there. And not only that, but I used to swim in it fearlessly. I didn't know. And so this story brings to you the irony of what we see right now, is we have been unknowingly and fearlessly swimming in the darkness. But we just weren't seeing it. But we were in the throes of its waves, out in the middle of the ocean. We just didn't see it. So now, when it's illuminated, does it really scare you? Or does it offer you new truth, which offers new passageways, new possible movements? It is the grief that I'm feeling from the collective that is the harshest thing about all of this, is the la la land is gone. The illusion that it was never there is gone. That's what we're grieving. So while it feels like Gemini season is just trampling us with chaos and madness, what it's really giving us is the other side of the coin that we were avoiding. And right now, Virgo's, the South Node is in Virgo. We're releasing this need to perfect things and analyze things, because quite frankly, nothing was perfect. We're learning to accept what completion means, what cycle completion means, what change means, and what it entails. Dark and light. It cannot be perfect and clean while gutting the harmful parasitic base it's been sitting on the whole time. You can't get rid of I don't really know if you can or can't. I'm not an architect, but metaphorically speaking, if you had termites in the base of your home and it was just disrupting the base, right? At some point, the upper parts of the structure are going to have to be dismantled, the part that you see, in order to fix that base, right? I would assume. So there's some level of acceptance here. It's like, we can't just cover this up and make it look cute while we destroy the roots that this sat on in order to make something better, something that's more stable and functioning for everyone. If we keep putting it all in one corner, it's going to continue to be imbalanced. And it will constantly tip in air in the side of chaos because it's unsteady and it's unstable. So there is, again, there's a light at the end of the tunnel here. Whatever you're dealing with this week, again, in the physical world, trust that there is something that is not being fully said, exposed, or revealed to you. But if you know that you are meant to do something, if you know that something is meant to work out, if you've been, called and to take a certain path in your life, to switch careers, to work on something, to say yes to a relationship, to say yes to a move somewhere, some kind of big thing here, it feels like, yes, you did the right thing. There's some deception present. If you're dealing with a challenge where there's lots of battles present, there's lots of issues present, and you want to argue on all those issues, choose your battles wisely, because it feels like some of those battles are going to yield unexpected fortune if you allow it to come. Trust the dominoes that are being placed. Pick the right battles and pick the right things to battle or to challenge or to speak up on, instead of feeling like you have to play whack-a-mole and kill them all. You might not be able to squash all the issues that you want to squash, but maybe if you focus and you just squash the right ones and the ones that really need to be squashed and dealt out, then you yield what you need. And I will say, there's something that is happening, and there's something that is going to happen in a good way. That trust that. The Ace of Swords card is coming out here, but there is some deception here with the Lovers, Gemini. And we also have the Five of Swords with the World, so there is some kind of defeat connected to a completion of a cycle. How much of it is yours and how much of it is someone else's, and how much of it is just a matter of the problem at hand that you're the cycle at hand that you're completing. How much of it is just like a result of that? It's just inevitable. Regardless, there is something very powerful unfolding from this, but again, strength to success to power here, with the numbers being 2, 3, 4, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4 being on the right track. It's all out of place, with your thoughts being the last thing being put into place. So there's something about getting your thoughts into the right place here, but there's a lot of challenging energies here, and it's mostly stemming from what I feel psychosomatically is a heart. A blockage to the heart, a blockage to fulfillment and fun and excitement. And in these cards over here, the expansion, the new beginning, so bright, so yellow, so fun. But we feel like we can't access this. Why? Because of all of this darkness. I'm hearing for some of you, is it just the part you play right now? There's something in what you're moving towards, what you're gearing up for, what you've been called towards, what you're working on. It's just the part you play right now. Something just can't be sunshines and rainbows all the time, or, you are the sunshine and rainbow, which means you have to maintain that within yourself. But there's something that just might not be sunshine and rainbow with someone else. And maybe that's what you're trying to force, and it's just not working. But this in itself, I feel it's like this energy blob building up around the third eye when I say that. So this is all in your perception, is all in how you look at something, it's all in how you navigate in something, and it almost reminds me of how the algorithm can change as your mood changes. So again, shifting your frequency, shifting your vibration, and what are you feeding and what are you fulfilling? And for some of you, this is just a matter of knowing that when your head's in the right place, you are doing exactly what you need to be doing. And there's a lot of swords coming at you saying that that's wrong. What you want, what you're working on is wrong. How much of that is someone else's shame, and how much of that is your shame? How much of that is someone else's confusion? And how much of that is your confusion? How much of that is someone else's misalignment? And how much of that is your misalignment? Because again, there's a mirror between generosity and the truth here, with the numbers being 23, 32. And there's a completion with expansion, with the numbers being 37, 3 plus 7, 10. New beginnings, 10. 10, 10. And there is something about the magic card, 25, 2 plus 5 being 7, 7 being your perception, your inner trust, your knowing. Balance in the unseen. Trust the unfolding and pick your battles, but expect the unexpected in a positive way. It's up to you to change the energy in the room.